optics of the
Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. There's a world within the moon.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for magic. We could do this.
Or whatever it is, that particular one.
Yeah.
Sets your the top player object location on the dark side. So the moon is the dark side. So
The road, it has to be within the moon, not on the other side of the moon.
The drilling operation has gone bad.
sorry?
The drilling operation has gone bad.
Find creatures that attack you and
It's a weird one.
What does that say? Colony management? Colony management. Oh, okay, show me the different hats. Okay, nice.
There's also the default head, which is just.
So this is the hero, is it? And he changes his hats depending on which hat he's wearing.
Depending on which background he's in.
source code repositories.
And it's not overkill. So you're building the whole level direct here, is that right?
Yep, just building it in Blender and then importing it into Unity because the Unity inbuilt one isn't as good as Blender.
And it's going to be
free.
an endless runner.
Yep, endless runner where you are going through the theme park within the moon.
Yeah.
And that explains why it's a similar level for all of them except with different textures thrown on.
So
because
tell
theme
me,
parks.
what is the gravitational constant?
The gravitational constant is going to be something less than 1.
That's about 0.2 or 0.18 or something, I think. Because if you get that wrong, you'll be disqualified.
Yeah, because we have to have realistic moon physics.
Yeah, clearly.
It's about the basics of the
What we're saying is that's the main body module, but then at the front what we may have is a claw that when moving throughout the caves that you might be able to grab onto vegetation that's kind of necessary for the survival of people who want to.
Yeah.
And then at the back there'd be like a drum for the wire. There's different two wheels with suction cups, and the idea is that when he's going into a big cave that he'd be like all extended and the neck would be higher, but then when you go into cave the wheels kind of spread out and then the antenna has to pull down so you can't use the Wi-Fi mechanic anymore.
Okay. So you're doing this in a vector package so you can get the bits and pieces out of it?
Yeah.
So vector package means like really easily move items around, take separate items, you know, just grab a wheel, select it, pull it out, make its own image, rotate it. Because you're making this whole shrinking animation, I'm going to make it be that all the parts are separate. I can just then push them together bit by bit, take a still picture and pop them over it. Then you only stop motion.
Yeah, and we went with the suction cups so we can have the funny little...
Suction cups on wheels, we can run up walls and we can make a sound effect.
What does craft give you?
Just an entity component model that you can build games out of, so you just pass that to the game.
Okay.
And the user renders it from there.
Okay. Has it got like physics and stuff? Or?
You can include Box 2D with it, but I don't know if we have that in.
Okay. Yeah. Although that's often an easier way to move things than doing it directly. And here we're making a moon floor. Would that be right? Moon floor.
Does he spawn after 5 seconds? However, it kind of breaks if I start going backwards because they can only spawn in front of you.
Luna, that's the game.
Okay,
So we now have our shooting recoil animations.
Yeah.
We have some animations for minimization.
Yeah.
We have all of our little parts that are attached to it. We're going to have a rotating cable drum at the back. We have our grapple hook. We have our grapple hook animated.
Grapple hook's nice, yeah.
For open closing. We have a holder for it. We've got a tiny little sprite here for the rope, which is going to be duplicated. We've got our lovely little wheel here with suction cups for little plop, plop, plop. I'll simply go through the bother of doing this for all ones where he's actually going to drive on.
So level design in SVG, and you're going to export, and it's an XML format with text.
We'll be exporting them as a PNG for one side, which is going to be the genuine level you're going to see on screen.
Yeah.
But
Can you zoom back a bit? Zoom back a bit.
Zoom back a bit, sure. But you can see it on paper there, we're just translating it over. But what we'll do is we'll make one export for the PNGs, which will slice up into then the level pieces, which will pop in as art assets. A separate file, we're going to take a pure SVG, which is just an XML full of coordinates. Use those as a collision texture, those coordinates, so it's one massive shape that the player can collide with, or rather collide inside.
I like it. So what's this object you're making here?
Just a turret.
Turret, okay. That was a turret game, is it?
Tower defense.
Turret fence, yeah.
With a twist.
Twist is underneath the moon. I hope you haven't forgotten that.
tower defense where towers can't exist.
Is Node still being nice to you?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Seems to work pretty well. It's just lack of knowledge.
See, it's not as interesting as looking at 3D objects, is it? But there you go. Some people code.
Oh, it's got some really cool things. Like when I click on this, it returns data from a database.
Yeah. Cool.
Magic.
One more. With cool sounds.
Yep. Personal sound effects from our man of action.
Okay, show us.
Voice actor extraordinaire. Okay. You're going to launch in the browser.
Do a barrel roll. Do a barrel roll. Our game's got Luna, this little robot here. Wait, that's the wrong one. That little robot there.
Yep.
And Luna is driving around inside the moon in little caverns and caves driving around. Here's the very first level of the cave, so you can see what it's like. What you have a lot is you've got a lot of these sliding doors. They're controlled by these little computers, which are remotely accessible to the robot using Wi-Fi. So you have to just come within range for a long enough time. Now the main trick here is that the level is constantly scrolling, well, rotating because it's inside the moon.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, intro sequence.
And a picture.
Oh, that was going to be an animation.
What is this? As I said. Okay, so it's 2D turret defense. Those are craters that the bats can't move over. But this is a tech demo, so they can. There's a couple of bats up there, and you basically move around with the cursor here in the world. So
Our theory behind the story is that you are going to the amusement park on the moon, right? Because there's a world on the moon, and in that world there's an amusement park. However, you didn't go through immigration, so the moon social services are after you because you're illegally entering the moon country. And you're trying to lose them in this amusement park that is all straight lines, that with different, and that's why there's different textures, because there's different rides. Eh?
I think I got taken for a ride.